Currently, the Rothschild family have a net worth of $250 billion when their various assets and companies are taken into account. With so many members and so many vast fortunes, though, skeptics believe they could be worth well over $1 trillion. The most prominent members of the family, who are assumed to have significant individual wealth, are regularly absent from Forbes' list of richest people in the world. They are said to have manipulated the gold market for over 2 centuries. In 2004, the Rothschilds officially pulled out of the gold market, but prior to that, they ran N.M. Rothschild, which was established in 1810. The company would host meetings twice a week and essentially set the world's gold price with the help of other firms, such as HSBC and the Deutsche Bank. The day that N.M. Rothschild announced it would close its doors, the price of gold fell by $7 an ounce. Nathan Rothschild once referred to the King of England as a puppet. The Rothschilds have never been afraid to flaunt their power and influence. Nathan Rothschild was once quoted as saying the man who controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, referring to his own family.
How is the Rothschild family directly involved with Ripple? What is the buyback plan? That's precisely what we're going to be looking at throughout the course of this video. How it all connects.
We built 44 great houses. It was a very important family in the 19th century. They were hugely successful bankers and world-renowned for that. So it seems to me important that one of those houses remains in all its glory, with its collections intact, and two, that it's open to the public, who should see part of the history of our family and part of the history of this country now.
The foremost family that has controlled the world's economy for over 2 decades, the Rothschild family, is now directly involved with Ripple? Is this clickbait, fake news, or all hype? We'll find out in a few minutes. Remember how the Rothschild family could alter the price of gold within the blink of an eye? They're so rich that their names almost never appear on Forbes lists. They're the only family known to have been the primary benefactors to countries, single-handedly sponsoring nations in times of war. And if you haven't heard about this family, don't beat yourself up too hard about it. This has been a deliberate effort by this household, collectively worth $500 billion, to stay out of the public eye.
From banks, insurance companies, and other important institutions. Through Aladdin, BlackRock has insights about the management of financial assets worth another $20 trillion. BlackRock also has shares and voting rights in many of the biggest European companies, in sectors such as energy, oil and gas, transportation, food, and of course, finance. The company holds public debt in the form of bonds and has real estate interests.
Mind you, this is no ordinary aristocratic family, as the story of the Rothschilds is not like any other regular family of wealth that controls corporations, but one that has the entire world under its palm. They're reputed for being so wealthy that they control not only the world's central banks and their governments, but also the entire world's money. In simple terms, the Rothschild family is the very first family to start the banking system as we know it today. In the meantime, and just as I said before in today's video, we're going to be looking at some facts to determine if this family really got involved with Ripple Labs. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.
Being able to keep a very low profile, right?
I wouldn't say that their profile, but no, I don't think so. After all, if you build 44 houses and are very successful, very active collectors, very active in all walks of life, I wouldn't say they kept a particularly low profile. I think nowadays it's lower.
It's lower.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know. I think because we don't need it. We don't feel like it. I don't think there's any kind of thought-out reason for it. But why should we be in the public domain?
And we knew that Spain was having its problems in the property market, and Portugal was too. We always mention Italy, but Italy has been like this for 40 years, so you don't think to worry too much about that. I think it's difficult to say until we see the details. Let's see how we get out of Ireland and see what happens.
At the least, and according to this piece from DonaldWatkins.com, the Rothschild family has been controlling the world's money supply for over 2 centuries. I quote, "The Rothschilds are a family of Jewish financiers. The family's emergence in the world of high finance started with Mayor Amschel Rothschild in 1744 to 1812, founder of and a moneylender at Frankfurt am Main, financial advisor to the Landgraves of Hesse-Kassel, an agent of the British government in subsidizing European sovereigns in wars against Napoleon. Among his 5 sons, Amschel Meyer, the eldest, born 1773, succeeded his father as the head of the Frankfurt establishment. His immediate younger brother, Solomon Meyer, born 1774, later went on to found a branch of the family's business in Vienna. Next to him was Nathan Meyer, born 1777, who founded a chapter in London. Then we have Carl Meyer, born 1788, who established a branch in Naples, Italy, and James or Jacob Meyer, born 1792, founded an outlet in Paris.
Mayer Amschel Rothschild, the founding father of the Rothschild banking dynasty, was born into a Jewish ghetto in Frankfurt in 1744, in a family of 7 other children. His father, Amschel Moses Rothschild, was a money changer and silk trader in the ghetto, owning a small shop with modest profits. When Mayer Amschel began his business, the family home was just 11 feet wide and housed 30 members of the family.
Now, back to talking about how this all relates to Ripple and XRP. Well, it starts with a financial services company, SBI Holdings, sometimes referred to as Strategic Business Innovator Group or SBI Group for short, a financial services group based out of Tokyo in Japan. The group's businesses and companies are collectively held and managed primarily under the moniker SBI Holdings. So it all started sometime in 2016, when this group entered into a multinational partnership agreement with Ripple to meet the growing demand for Ripple solutions, specifically across the Asian continent. Hence, a new company was set in place to build an engineering and sales force across Japan, China, Taiwan, Korea, and ASEAN countries to sell and install Ripple's enterprise solutions for cross-border payments at banks across the region. Ever since, the global provider of financial settlement solutions, Ripple, and the global financial services company have continued to cooperate in more ways than one. While SBI Holdings remains Ripple's most significant external shareholder, the growth rate of these two has been largely intertwined. More recently, SBI Holdings reported that Ripple has completed its investment in SBI's MoneyTap and is now regarded as the largest external shareholder with a 33% stake in MoneyTap. Since pulling out of trading in gold, the primary commodity upon which the family's banking structure was formed, after dominating the scene for more than 2.5 centuries, you might wonder what the Rothschild family might be looking to get the bulk of that reserve funds into. Well, what other investment option would be better than the emerging digital asset class, especially crypto? Rumor has it that the 2018 crypto bearishness that lasted almost 3 years resulted from such prominent families like Rothschild buying heavily into the asset class. Hence, they had to stage a massive sellout to buy into this class and buy out these coins from unsuspecting hodlers at the cheapest. Through some research, you might find that these big funds and entities aren't just buying into crypto, but also getting their hands on the most innovative ones. And trust me, Ripple and XRP aren't far off the radar. So check this out, guys. I stumbled upon this tweet. Interesting. The Rothschild family has some of their holdings in SBI, which also invested in Ripple and XRP. And if we look through the link to that PDF of the annual report and audited financial statements titled the Edmund de Rothschild Fund, published in March of 2018, we'll see that the Rothschild family, through its subsidiary company SBI Group, has tripled its investments in the digital asset space within the span of 1 year. More importantly, in that report, on page 29, it says, among the new issues, and by issues it refers to companies owned by the Rothschild Group, as you would see if you do a quick search on new issues through the document. So it reads, among the new issues making a notable contribution to performance were 1. Japanese financial services company SBI Holdings, which in August 2017 launched a new dual tranche 40 billion yen 3- and 5-year CBs to refinance an existing CB, fund buybacks, and for new investment opportunities, contributing 54 BPs in the 12-month period. And 2. U.S. payments provider Square Inc., which in March 2017 issued a $440 million 5-year CB to fund organic and inorganic growth, contributing 47 BPs. And down below, under the key contributors section, they mention Ripple, where it reads, the underlying equity rallied over 60% during the period as the company was caught up in the optimism surrounding cryptocurrencies. SBI owns an 8.7% stake in Ripple's XRP. There is a chance that you've never heard of them, yet in less than 300 years, this family that operates as a financial conglomerate has grown from almost nothing to establishing a banking business in the 1760s, which later earned them the title of the founding fathers of international finance. So guys, imagine what happens when this extraordinarily powerful family decides to lease out its executive network of owned and controlled banks to Ripple now that the Rothschild family is directly involved with them. Is the buyback plan going to be as it has always been with this bunch, where it evaluates a given asset so that it can buy in substantially well, after which it abounds the value of that asset? I don't know. What do you think? What we can't afford to deny is that with the family's affluence and influence, not even the SEC's lawsuit can stop Ripple or XRP. Take a look at this, guys.
Being able to keep a very low profile, right?
I wouldn't say that their profile, but no, I don't think so. After all, if you build 44 houses and are very successful, very active collectors, very active in all walks of life, I wouldn't say they kept a particularly low profile. I think nowadays it's lower.
It's lower.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know. I think because we don't need it. We don't feel like it. I don't think there's any kind of thought out reason for it. But why should we be in the public domain?
But that's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, we'll see you in the next video.